here we have it. My first ever YouTube video. Long overdue and something I've been meaning to do for years, if I'm honest. And something I've never got around to doing due to the fact that I just kept putting it off and just not doing it. Making sure everything was perfect before recording any kind of video, which doesn't help. Let's do it. Let's get it done. Let's put this out there as my first video. Not expecting great things from it, but it gives me somewhere to start from. So I can work out what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong. And I'm sure in the comments, I'll be told what I'm doing wrong and hopefully what I'm doing right as well, which would be nice. This video is going to be about my office. Now, my office isn't in my house. It's at the bottom of my garden. It's a garden office, a project I did 3 years ago, and that is what we're going to be speaking about. So let's start with the reasons why I had the office built in the first place. One of the biggest reasons was the fact it was much cheaper than having an extension on our house, which would have been roughly around £50,000. And if my wife had anything to do with it, everything she was adding when we were speaking about it, it would have cost twice as much as a house, which is crazy. Another huge reason for a separate office was the fact that one of our kids was literally sleeping in an office, in my office, which in early days isn't really that bad of a situation because they sleep in your room for the first few months anyway. But everybody wants their kids to have their own bedroom, not to be sleeping in an office. Another major deciding factor was the point that I'm a wedding photographer, so I need no distraction at all, really. Kids running in and out of the office and being shouted downstairs to do something, or just being in the vicinity of the home while you're working constantly, especially with wedding photography. When you've got 3,000 plus images to get through per wedding, you need the quiet time to separate yourself, work from home, home from work. So having made the definitive decision to go ahead with it, it was time to search for the right company for us to get the job done, which in our case is a company that no longer exists. Owner of the company, Fraser, was a fabricator and carpenter, knew his stuff, which was brilliant, made everything very easy from the start. Even though I'm a stickler for detail, he was very patient, went through everything with me and gave us a floor plan. And this is the floor plan. So here we go, here's the floor plan. It was 3.6 meters, 2.4 meters. The width had a window here, double glazed window here, double glazed window here. This one doesn't open, this one does, swings in as you can see there. And the main entrance to the office, double glazed double doors. Double glazed double doors? Yeah, that'll do. So not as big as you'd think really, but ample size for what we needed. So let's move on to costs. Our quote was just over the £10,000 mark, which suited us. But with all projects and budgets, they tend to grow arms and legs, which pushes your budget north of what you intended it to be in the first place. I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that. Just as a little disclaimer, I have to tell you that I am absolutely useless at all things building and DIY. Hence me getting professionals in to do the job for us. So what I guess I'm saying here is there might be some holes in the details, but hopefully you can forgive me for that. Like I said, I've got no clue about the intricate details of building or DIY. But if you get the gist, you get the gist, and hopefully you can move on and forgive me for not getting the details correct in the first place. Let's quickly go through the itemized costs, just to give you an idea of what a project like this will end up costing you if you decide to get something in your garden the same as me. Then I'll share some sequential pictures that I took during the build from start to finish, just so you can see what's involved in a project like this. Here's our itemized billing. Don't forget this is a whole project, guys, not just the actual office itself, but a little bit of landscaping and decking. So it's quite a big project. And as you can see at the top there, the total was £13,500. £437, which was quite a bit above our £10,000 budget, but we're really happy with the outcome anyway. And please also remember, I'm no expert here. I'll drag through this slowly so we can see which were the bigger costs. There we go. Composite cladding, which is around the whole of the exterior of the office. Just for low maintenance, I wanted it as low maintenance as possible, so we went for composite cladding on the outside so we didn't have to keep repainting wood and so on and so forth. The windows and the doors, obviously they're a big cost as well. There we go. Tilt and turn, and the double doors, 1,300. The anthracite electric heater there, £255. I just use a blow heater now to get it to temperature, and the heat stays in here lovely. Although I will say in the summer it gets really hot in here to the point where you have to work in your underpants. I'm thinking of getting a split air conditioning unit to put on here, but we don't get much heat in the summer. Not unbearable heat anyway here in Scotland. Osmo decking oil. Don't go cheap on your decking oil. Honestly, that is really good decking oil. LED sensor smart spotlight, which is Xiaomi. I used Xiaomi smart bulbs inside, which are fantastic. Bit of a discount there as well. All the electrics were run down from the house, from the main fuse box, and there's a fuse box inside here as well, so it's not just an extension lead running down to here. It's all done properly. All the electrics are done properly. Also, we had Ethernet cable run down to here from the house because we didn't want to be messing about with wireless from the house, although because we've run a cable, an Ethernet cable down from the house to here, and we can have wireless down here anyway from the router at the end of the cable. That makes sense. I mean, you can go through that and pause it and have a look at everything there. Hopefully that helps a bit, and it shows you the total cost as well, the Mark Wild project, materials and labour. Like I said, 13,500 give or take. Okay, so I'm going to presume you're a little bit fed up with me droning on about my garden office, and you'd like to see some pictures of the build itself, right from the beginning right to the end of the project, and some inside as well. Like I said, this was 3 years ago, so some things have changed there. And what I will do is give you an update on some of the things that have changed since it's been built, and some of the pros and cons to having a garden office, something like this one. So let's have a look. Right, there we go. Something I did forget to mention was how long the project took. And from start to finish, it took 3 weeks. About 3 weeks. 3 weeks and a couple of days. I also promised you some pros and cons with having a garden office. So the main pros are my own space, my own quiet space to edit and to run the business away from the madness of my family home. Also, there's no rent. Got your initial layout, but there's no rent month after month after month. Another big one is it's a 20-second commute. What's better than that? Another one is it adds value to the house. If you're selling your house, surely if you've got a self-contained office in your back garden, somebody's going to see that as a big asset to the 3-bedroom house. Another one is it's easy to heat. A little blow heater, 5 minutes on, and that gets it to a decent temperature, and then you can sustain the temperature with a smaller electric heater. I just use a little 400 watt infrared panel which goes under my desk, keeps me warm. Perfect. Few cons: there's no toilet. Obviously it's not big enough to have a bathroom and a shower and a toilet, so you have to nip back to the house. 20 seconds back up the garden. Quite a big one is the fact that it's not business tax deductible, which was one of the first things I asked my accountant, who unfortunately told me it wasn't. It wasn't really about that anyway. It would have been a plus for it to be a business expense, but it wasn't so important to us. Just another room. That's what we needed. Another one is the summer heat, which I explained about earlier. In peak summertime, sometimes it can get up to 30 degrees in this office. So you've got your shorts and your flip-flops on working with a couple of fans to move the air around inside. Perfectly fine. However, I do think that I'll be getting a split air conditioning unit put into here either this year or next year, which would be lovely. Close the door, nice and cool. Also in the summer, don't forget the kids are going to have the paddling pool on the decking, but then again, that's nice sounds. Your kids playing, laughing, joking. Can get a little bit annoying, but nothing drastic. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen, my first YouTube video. I'm really excited to get it finished. I've probably rushed it due to the excitement of getting my first video onto YouTube. Also, another small disclaimer, I'd never used any video editing software until 3 weeks ago. I've been watching YouTube videos on how to do that using Adobe Premiere Pro, which isn't easy, but you can learn. If you've got any questions on the garden office, please put them in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them. Obviously, I've missed out some details along the way, probably quite a few. Again, in the excitement of trying to rush to get my first YouTube video out there. For the channel itself, I'm not 100% sure of the direction it's going to take. Hopefully that will naturally happen as I progress and put more and more videos out there. If you're indeed watching them, it will definitely though be around the subject of photography. That's what I am, that's what I do. I'm a photographer, wedding photographer, so it'll be around that subject. If you've enjoyed this video, help me out by giving me a like or indeed a subscribe. And lastly, I've got so much to learn, please feel free to critique this video and then I can improve by reading what you've got to say. Excellent, there we go. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.